What do you prefer out of the 2? What do you do most often?
So most often I've done capital partnerships. After I did my first, I think 4 or 5 deals, one of my good friends from college who's really successful was talking to me. He's like, "Dude, could I give you $10,000 and do this with you?" Because that's what I started with was $10,000. And I was like, "Hell yeah." I'm literally my first $10,000, I bought 6 deals. So I was in a really cheap area in California, actually in Kern County near Rosamond. And so when I bought 6 deals and then I'm out of cash, I had 2 flips and the other 4 were finance deals, which is pretty typical to my numbers anyways. But I'm waiting for these finance deals to build up my cash reserves again so I can go buy more properties. So once one of my friends did it, had a few friends, had a little waterfall effect where I had a few more friends come in. So I was able to go buy more deals. So most of my deals to date have been capital partners. I just literally did a wholesale deal that closed on Monday. And that was super nice. I'm $0 in and it wasn't a huge deal. I just made a quick 5,000 bucks, but it was 2 weeks. It took me 2 weeks from getting under contract to getting the 5 grand. So that was like, I want to do more of those deals. I want to do bigger numbers. So I think it's going to really depend on the person selling the property to me on the strategy I use going forward. But I have a pretty big, like, kind of, I call it like investor list now that's grown over the past couple years. And I've been more aware of how I spend my time to try to find investors. And it's been really fun to grow with some of my friends and my family to help. I think that's like the coolest part. But I think what is easier and is to do wholesale deals. I think you don't have to deal with other people. You don't have to worry about paying other people out. You don't have to worry about explaining taxes to other people. It's just all you can, I think, have less cooks in the kitchen. It just makes it easier over time.
Mhm. What do you think of working with capital partners or kind of one-stop shops? A lot of the coaching programs out there have a capital partner who will make a split with you and just they're a sophisticated investor as opposed to pulling friends and family.
So thus far, I've never worked with another land investor as a capital partner. For example, I don't know if you've heard of Travis King.
Mhm.
So he's got, I think it's Land Capital where they do that. They like they'll come in and fund your deal, and you get a split. And I have a lot of respect for Travis King. I've done his courses and stuff, and I just grew. Like I said, after my first friend asked me, I just started talking about it a lot more. And especially when you're not in real estate, but even in real estate, you don't meet a lot of land investors when you're out and about. I've gone to real
Mhm.
estate conferences, and everyone's, "Wait, you do what?" So it's a unique conversation starter. And so just through that, honestly, through LinkedIn and stuff, I've just been able to find new investors whenever I really needed them. I do see a lot of value. So there's a couple properties I'm looking at right now that are much higher value, let's say like 100,000 plus. And those, just because I have less experience in those type of numbers, I'm following a process that I'm very confident about. But if I do end up needing capital, that might be where I bring in a sophisticated land investing capital partner. I think one, just to get a second set of eyes on it and just to feel more confident about it. And obviously, if they're coming in and putting in 100 grand, even if we sell for 200, let's say I'm only making 20,000 on that. So they're taking a lot more risk than I am. And I can see how it all plays out. I can be like, okay, this took me 6 months to sell. So if I found 10 of these, and then I can start, I think, making estimates and being like, okay, this is what it's going to look like in 6 to 12 months if these are the deals I go after, when I can buy one by myself, et cetera.
Yeah, I talk with a lot of land investors, and I like the idea of using capital always becomes a bottleneck at some point, and I really like the idea of using capital that also has some knowledge of the next level maybe that you're trying to get to. So,
Definitely.
when people are doing just infill lots, okay, maybe take a little bit of capital and do a $50,000 rural residential, and work with a capital partner who knows that market, and then you were saying, you start playing around in that area, and then maybe you're trying to do value add subdivides at some point further down, and now you're looking at a capital partner, maybe they're gonna bring a couple 100 grand to the table, but they're
That,
gonna have all that knowledge too.
yeah,
I like
100%.
that as a way, yeah.
And I think if you're early in the land investing career or seasoned or whatever, it's so easy to find those people. If you just go on Facebook or wherever, you're always going to be able to find someone who knows a little bit more than you. And For the most part, people are willing to help, and a lot of it's because they're wanting to make money too. So as long as you can build a level of trust with that person, I think it's totally worth it. I wouldn't pass up on a deal because you don't have the capital. And if you can bring in someone who's a little bit wiser, and then you start hearing the questions they're asking, it's maybe those are how I should be thinking about the deal. Like, not only is it flat, is it buildable, is it these like surface level due diligence checkpoints? It's okay, what are the subdividing rules here? Would it make sense? So I think it makes a lot of sense to try to work with those people as much as possible, especially early on. And I'm in my early 30s, and I can see myself doing this for the next 50 years. So if I can spend the next 7 years working with really smart land investors, that's only going to make me better 40 on.
Yeah, absolutely.